Thanks for joining us for the Member xCite presentation. The Member xCite presentation is informative, interesting to the audience, and showcases the strengths of the presenter as an entrepreneur and their area of expertise. It's not a sales pitch, it's a 10-minute educational and insightful exploration into what they do. And of course, it's exciting.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our xCite presenter today, Mark Pereira from Hyper Global Peak State Performance Coaching, to present to us on the Kite and the Right, 5 tips for coaching and developing exceptional talent. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mark Pereira.
So today I'll be talking to you about the Kite and the Rock. And we're talking about 5 tips for coaching and developing exceptional talent. So what I'd like to do is I'll get you guys all to start. Have you got just like a pen and paper in front of you so you can write on a piece of paper I've given you? I'm not going to let this paper. I want you to, if you can, just close your eyes. So we're in a safe space here. I've created a nice safe space for us to imagine for the next 10 minutes. And we're not bringing our traditional thinking into this 10-minute session. So what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes, if you can. And I want you to think about the first word that comes to you when you think about exceptional talent. So think about that word. Now, how long have we got, Andrew? 10 minutes? 10 minutes. Okay, so I'll give you 9.5 minutes. Think about one word that comes to your head when you think about exceptional talent. When you think about gifted talent or gifted people. I want you to see someone. Is there someone there that you see or not? It doesn't have to be sport related. It could be in work. Could be in a former mentor. Could be something you see on TV. All right. If you've got that person, you've got that word, so I want you to open your eyes and just write that down on your piece of paper. Okay. So as you can see on this chart, this mind map, there's a lot of stuff on there. I'm not going to cover all of it in 10 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you guys choose the journey. So what I'll do is I'll point you guys out one at a time, and then we'll work through what that journey looks like. So with the Kite and the Rock, what I'm hoping to convey here is that you've got the kite, which is the equivalent of what I call an exceptional talent. So there might be someone who's a creative genius, it could be an artist, it could be a sports person, or a really good business person. And the rock is the equivalent of a coach. So the coach or a mentor that is allowing that person to play within guidelines, but allowing them to express their creativity. So what we're going to do is we're going to look through 5 qualities as a coach that I think you can help to develop exceptional people. And again, this is just my opinion. This is not like industry truth. Okay, so I think the first thing I need to say is don't believe a word I say, because where I'm coming from is my own experience. Everyone comes with different experiences, so take what's relevant for you and what's not relevant for you. You can leave it in the room and carry on as you go in your business and in your life. So the first thing I'm going to talk, the 5 points I'll just put up front, and then I'll come and individually pick one of you guys to take us on the journey. So the first one is the creator mindset. Okay? Now, second one is competitive experience. Number 3 is grounded support systems. Number 4 is intuitive training systems. And number 5 is tactics and strategy. So for me, these are 5 core components in developing exceptional talent. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the creator mindset. Okay. Derek, out of those 5 things on there, which one just pops out to you? No, don't overthink.
Intuitive training systems.
No, in creator mindset.
Oh, those 5?
Yeah, pick one of those. No overthinking, first one.
Establish, develop, and enhance the relationship.
Okay, so this is important, guys. When you're starting out with coaching someone or mentoring someone, it's establishing, developing, and enhancing the relationship. Now, I know I don't have too much time to go into this, but Luke spoke about this at his presentation on Wednesday around kinship, and it's building shared experiences, shared knowledge, and shared values. It's building around that. So if you don't have the connection with the talent, you don't have the connection with the team, you're not going to be able to achieve what you need to achieve. Okay. One of the things, major things for me, and this is developing the person first, developing the athlete second. So, and the athlete can mean different things. It can mean a person who's working for you, the CEO, the executive, even just I don't want to say even just the people working in the back office, because they're an important part of the system. So, you know, when I develop programs, I develop the person first, and then we develop how they're achieving what they need to through the outcomes they're looking to achieve. Okay, competitive experience. Let's go to Chris. What's the biggest thing that just sticks out for you?
Competitive experience. Does it help if I tell you my person?
Just one of those four that stick out to you, and I'll talk about that topic.
Oh, competitive experience, one of those four. Probably discovery through deliberate play.
Discovery through deliberate play. Okay, so this again is important. It's understanding, you know, how often we're intervening before people are allowed to actually explore and play through a problem. You know, so often as parents, we see something that's not right, we go and pick something up, and we go, no, leave it there. Let me show you how to do it. But what we're doing is we're taking away the problem-solving aspect from the child. Now, one thing, and again, I went on a training session on Tuesday with Tennis Australia, and they're talking about developing elite players. And so one of the things they talked about was they did some research, and these are the two factors that brought elite athletes into life. So in terms of how do you develop elite athletes, and the two factors that were most prominent are two things. One, they came from a township of 100,000 to 600,000 people. This is one of the factors. Factor two is they were allowed safe and easy access to facilities during their young age. So look at those two words, safe and easy access. Right, that's all. To develop professional athletes, that was the start, 0 to 9 years old. And so it's interesting to understand when you're coaching people, sometimes we go into these massive complex strategies and executions and implementations, but have we actually stepped back to see, well, what we just need to succeed in small parts, and then bring that forward. All right, number 3, grounded support system. Luke, which one of those 3 stood out to you?
Trust.
Trust your team and your people? Okay, so how many of you have teams here, or have worked in teams before? Okay, so I don't know if you've had a chance to look at this, but Simon Sinek has a really nice YouTube video on trust and high-performing teams who develop trust. Sometimes you might have a high-performing team. He talks about the Navy SEALs and how for them it's not about the best performer, but it's about the people they trust within the team to get the job done. And so sometimes he talks about different scenarios where you might have a high performer, but they might be toxic. And they prefer to have less of those people than a medium performer, but high trust. And so, so the high performer who's toxic has low trust. Just to make that clear. But you know, trusting in your team is really important. And when you look at someone like Rafa Nadal, who's built success over his career, when you look at the core of his team, that core team has stayed together to allow him to develop his skills over a longer period of time. And when we finish, I'll talk about how he innovates within this space. Because great players, great exceptional players, they innovate in their space when they need to change and adapt. So you look at someone, and I might have time, I'll just quickly talk about this if I can. So you look at someone like Rafa Nadal, when he was growing up, he was taught traditionally to hit a traditional shot. Now, I went to a session where I got to meet his coach, Tony Nadal, and there was a whole lot of coaches in the room, and they said, oh, we read somewhere online that you taught him to hit this shot which comes around over the head. How many of you have watched tennis and seen him hit this helicopter forehand over the head? Yeah. Maybe not. Okay, so normally, traditionally, you hit here, and then you finish up on the spot here. And he shortens his swing to here, and then he does this whole helicopter thing. And so when the coaches asked him, how did you teach this? Because this is outside of fundamental training sessions, out of fundamental training systems. And he said, I didn't teach him. I showed him a video of Roger Federer and said, I need you to hit the ball like this. And he said, I'm not Roger Federer. But where he learned to develop this swing was going up into his first professional tournaments. The balls were coming too fast for a 16-year-old to actually get his racket back in time to make contact with the ball, and he found that he wasn't getting any success. So through the environment, he was able to innovate and shorten his swing and make this shot. Now, I don't know if you watch any tennis, but I'd say probably 30 to 40% of the tour now has this shot, because they have to learn to adapt and innovate. And so again, exceptional talent know how to adapt and innovate within their space over the long-term period of their career. Okay, intuitive training systems. I'm going to go with Hannah.
Hi.
Which one of those, there's a lot there, which one of those?
I don't know. Intuition, let's go with that one.
Intuition?
Yeah.
Okay, so intuitive training systems, I'll jump into what Hannah's talking about in terms of intuition, which is internal data. So part of creating an intuitive training system is building a high quality learning environment. So because what you're doing is you're learning two things as an athlete, or even just as for us, like if you're creating an environment for business owners, you have to create an environment where there's quality decision making and also the ability to process data. So when I say data, I mean there's external data coming at you, and there's internal data, which someone like Hannah does, is looking at how internal data is processed, and that allows you to then learn and experience how you actually manage data processing from an external perspective, internal perspective. So intuition is the internal data, and when I talk about developing the person first and the athlete second, it's about developing the intuitive person and developing the intuitive athlete. And it's about making sure that they are at peace and comfortable and confident with their internal data processing before we start bringing in external data, because that's important as part of a training system. Okay, what I'd like to do is move off to the fifth point, which is tactics and strategy. Loz. Oh, Loz is filming. Andrew, I'll get you to pick one of those, please.
I got two, but I'm going to go with utilize time and space.
Okay, cool. So when you look at top performers, so these guys who are at the top of their game, top business people, they're really looking for the 1 or 2% improvement. They're not looking for the 20 or 30% improvement, right? They're looking for that 1 or 2% improvement that gets them the 20 or 30% improvement. And this, for me, is the biggest thing when you try and break complex strategies down, tactics, strategies, game plans, playbooks, whatever you want to call it. It's understanding how to utilize time and space effectively. Because that's what at the top end, you got at any top sports coach, top executive, top players, they know how to shift momentum, because it's shifting small pieces of momentum in a bigger space of a game. So if you think about a sports game, there's ebbs and flows in a sports game. Sometimes I'm winning, sometimes you're winning, sometimes we're both trying to still figure out what we're trying to do. And in those moments, it's about understanding time and space. So to give you just a basic understanding on time and space, it's like in tennis, there's ways you hit across the court, and there's ways you hit down the court. So down the court is a shorter space of time, across the court is a longer space of time. So if I'm chasing something, if Jules and I are playing tennis with each other, or doing business with each other in a competitive manner, if Jules is trying to dictate the play, I don't hit back to the shorter space, I try and hit the longer space. That gives me time to move back into a position where I'm making better decisions, right? If Jules is trying to dictate play and hitting short spaces or trying to take time away from me, I've got to learn to figure out how I'm making time back for myself to make better decisions. Jules is trying to take time away from me, so when she takes time away from me, I'm making less quality decisions, which again, it's in her benefit. So again, we build tactics and strategies around utilising time and space and saying, okay, Jules is pulling me this way, am I out of position to make a quality decision? Yes. Okay, I need to then be safe and hit somewhere safe, and then come back to a position where I can make a good decision. So in business, you're doing the same thing. If Luke might be saying something, oh, we're doing this with a client and they're pulling us this way, okay, how can we then bring that back to a point where you and I are still making good decisions in a collaboration that we might be doing? So it's important to understand how to use time and space effectively, and with business, you create a strategy and playbook around that. In sport, you create a strategy and playbook around that. But again, where the greats do this is they understand how to shift the gears and manage momentum. So this is the biggest thing I look for in talent ID when I'm working with executives, I'm working with CEOs, I'm working with professional athletes. There are times when they're put into the real game, and for most of us, we're already working at limit when we're at the real game. These guys, they find a way to move up a gear, and they've sometimes got 1 or 2 gears above where most people's limits are. Right? So again, that's partly built through the high quality learning environment, it's built through the high quality learning environment and test and measure over time. So I think that might be my time up. I'm sorry to get through all of that, but that's pretty much it. My 5 tips for coaching xCeptional.